Hey everybody, it's Bryan, and you are listening to Course Building Secrets Podcast. Whether you're a coach or a CEO, the success of your team and clients is based on your ability to deliver a consistent experience and guide them on the fastest path to results. This podcast will give you practical, real-life tips that you can use today to build your online experiences that get results and create raving fans. Why? So you can monetize your expertise and serve more people without adding more time or team to your business. If you're looking to uncover your $1 million framework, package it, and use it to scale, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode. In today's episode, I want to talk about something that you may not know about me. So when I was running my digital learning agency, I actually scaled it 7 figures without ads. And I want to talk about my journey through that and why I think that it is a solid approach. I don't recommend not doing ads, but I don't recommend just doing ads as your only strategy for how to grow your business. And I want to talk a little bit about that today and why that is, and then how do you actually scale with ads or without ads. So when I was building my agency, one of the things I knew I needed to do was become visible. I needed to have people know that I existed, that we had something to offer, and that we could help them. And so the way that I started was to just go out and figure out where my ideal customers are hanging out, right? Where are they gathering? What are they doing? And what conversations are they having? That was the very first sort of activity. And again, like if you're looking at this through the lens of you want to start ads as quickly as possible, you still have to go through some of these mechanics before you get started with ads. You don't just have an idea and start with ads. However, some people have more money than time. And so if you have more money than time, you can test ads earlier. If you have more time, then you do more of an organic strategy where you are out kind of putting your shingle up and getting out there and building relationships. But it's a 2-prong approach. And so I want to talk through that today. And I don't talk about it a lot, actually. I probably should talk about it more. But that's why I'm telling you all about it today, which is that I actually did scale without any ads to 7 and surpassed 7 figures. Because here's what I understood. Is that number one, I had to be visible. People had to know who I was and what we offered, and they needed to feel confident that we had something that would help them. And I needed to be where people were to bring them towards me, right? So they knew that we existed. So let's just break down those 2 things for right now. So when you are in a brick and mortar business, right, you're building an agency, you're building a business that has an office where you're in a particular location, right? You are serving people in a particular location. It makes sense that you would say, okay, here's where my office is, go introduce yourself to your neighbors, go to maybe the local chamber of commerce or whatever, and do some networking events and meet people. That makes sense if you're starting a local business and looking at it from that perspective. It was a little bit of some of what I was doing when I was starting my digital business is I said, okay, well, who do I want to help and where are they and what are they doing and what do they need, right? And so I went out and physically met with people. I did networking groups. I went to local and national association meetings. I spoke at both local, national conferences, right? So I was a guest speaker. I, was in charge of a user group. So there's a group of business executives who were a part of this. We would meet weekly and monthly to talk about tools and different things that were going on. So I led that group. So kind of grew that group organically and worked with them. Right. So what starts to happen is this sort of snowball effect of you're, going out and meeting a lot of different people and you're speaking and you're you're leading a free group and you're drawing people to you. And then And then I got to be known as the e-learning person, right? Like the person who you go to get all of your e-learning done and out the door. And so that was how we started to grow, was in groups like that. So when you're doing that in a local business, or even, you're trying to kind of go national, but there's more of a, people are gathering physically, then you have to, kind of be out where they are. And then, of course, talk about it, right? Talk about what you're doing, how you're helping people, what you were speaking on, and all of that. And that helps to sort of snowball. I got more people in the door from just having those conversations than anything else that I did. Any other strategy that I employed was I went out to speak at a national conference, and I could pay to be a sponsor. I could pay to, have a booth or have a big thing, and that was great. I met people, but it was when I was speaking on stage and having, kind of having people come to me afterwards, where I got 9 out of 10 of the business opportunities that came in, because I was on stage. They saw what my signature presentation was. They saw what I had to offer. They learned about my clients and some of the projects we had worked on, and that was the thing that was more compelling to them than kind of walking up to somebody in a paid sponsorship opportunity. So that's the first thing, is your goal as a digital CEO, as a digital business owner, is to reproduce that activity online. So often when I'm working with people, they sort of want to build something and then stay disconnected to it, right? They want to go off and do their other thing, or maybe they're leading with a side hustle, or they want to build a business, but they don't actually want to be visible or connect with people. And to me, that is a missed opportunity, because at the end of the day, whether you're doing ads, whether you're doing organic outreach, at the end of all of that is a human that you are helping. And so you have to build that relationship with that person who says, that's me, they can help me. And they're drawn to whatever your solution is. So at the end of the day, you always have to remember that, right? Whether it's organic or it's ads, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, you are helping somebody, and you have to solve their problem, and you have to get them to raise their hand and say, yes, this is for me. I want to work with this person, or buy their course, or buy their program, or do coaching, or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, it's a person. Most often when people are not successful in ads, it's because they're starting too early, and they've lost sight of the fact that there's a person at the end that they actually have to be speaking to, right? It's not just about going out and even if you're doing an organic traffic strategy through social media, at the end of the day, you're not just out there running around. You are there for very strategic intention, which is to help connect with the human at the end of whatever that engagement is, whatever that activity is, right? This podcast, I am speaking directly to you. I am not speaking to whoever in the world may be interested in what I have to offer. I'm speaking directly to you, and hopefully serving you and giving you some ideas and some tips and some tricks for how you can incorporate various things in your digital learning or digital course or digital program or whatever kind of digital business you have, so you can grow it, so you can really help the people that you are serving, right? So at the end of the day, that's always what you need to remember, regardless of what strategy you're working on. So again, your goal in an organic strategy is, how do you get in front of these people? How do you find them? How do you build a relationship with them? And so in a digital space, that is still going out and finding groups where they're hanging out, networking groups, speaking, getting in front of other people's audiences, right? Do you have colleagues or other people in your space who are doing similar but different things that you can get in front of their audience and serve them, right? So find somebody who has a complementary skill set or specialty that you do, and then partner together. That's how you grow. That's how you start to gain momentum. I have a client right now who's working on becoming visible for the first time outside of his job, and outside of just sort of trying to do ads, which didn't work for him. And it didn't work because he did it too early. He didn't establish a relationship, didn't start to get out there and make some connections, if you will, outside of just, kind of pushing his program at people, right? So again, building those relationships. Okay, so that's super important. Find where they're hanging out and hang out there, right? When I started that, the user group that I was running, we saw a need. We saw something that needed to happen in the market. We said, you know what, we're going to create this group. We're going to meet on a regular basis. Anyone can come in and connect and learn and get what they need to. And it grew from, a couple people at first to hundreds and hundreds of people. And then eventually we kind of rolled into the national version of it. And we had people all over the U.S. who were coming to us, asking us questions and having us help not only how did you grow this group, but also asking us very specific questions that increased our reach even more. And so don't be afraid to do that online. Don't be afraid to draw people to you, and think about how to get out there and build relationships and serve people. Be it a podcast, be it social media, be it however you want to get out there and draw people to you. You have to have a place where they can find you, and you have to have a place where you're able to connect with people, because again, it's all about that relationship. Okay, the only other thing I will say is that as you're doing this, you have to be really clear on what your goals are. And so I knew that when I was going out, I wasn't going to run ads. I wasn't going to just do kind of that I wasn't going to just throw it out there. I was going to grow very strategically around, kind of one relationship at a time. And at some point, I grew beyond that, right? So this is when I'm first starting and got to my first 7 figures. So at some point, I kind of grew beyond that. But it served me so well because it's a snowball effect, right? You start somewhat small, and then all of a sudden there's referrals because somebody has heard about the work that you've done or somebody's recommended you. And then you get on stages and you get in different situations where you are in front of a broader audience. And then again, you're bringing more people to you, and it becomes something that, I was at one point getting referrals and word of mouth sort of, sales opportunities. And I didn't really have to do much, right? Because I had planted the seeds, because I had been out there building the business. And so if you're first starting in this game, like that is where 100% I recommend that you start. You don't necessarily know your voice yet. You don't necessarily know exactly the messaging that's going to draw somebody to you. You don't know exactly who is out there and where they're gathering and how to find them. I remember I did, when I first kind of transitioned more to 100% digital, I did try ads, and I tried them too early. Because of course everyone says do ads. Like all you need to do is do ads, and you put $1 in and you get 2 out, and it's super easy. Well, the problem is that you have to have a compelling message that draws people to you. You have to be very clear on who you're targeting and how to find them and where they're hanging out online, right? You have to be really clear about all of those things before you go out and do ads. Ads by themselves are not going to create customers for you. It's all of the foundation, all of the things that you're putting in place, both from an organic strategy perspective and a paid ad perspective, that will help you grow. And so, so if anyone's recommending you just go straight from concept to ads, I I would be very careful in how you're working with them, because you really have to be clear on what your goals are, who you're serving, what result or transformation you're getting for them, and how you are clearly articulating that to them so people raise their hand and say, I'm in, right? So all ads is a way to amplify your message. So it's like a megaphone for your message. So if you don't have your message dialed in to the place where you can convert people who are in your world already, it's not the time to go to ads, right? So if you have, say you did an organic strategy, or say you have some people who are ready to purchase from you already. Maybe you have an email list. Maybe you have some people who are kind of in your world who are asking for you to do something, package a program, create something for them that will help them. Those are people who are ready to buy, right? That's an easy conversion because they're already in your world. They're already ready to go. If you can't get them to buy, all the people are kind of swimming towards you already, then ads aren't going to help you. Going out and finding people who don't know you, who don't trust you, who don't know what you have to offer, you're just going out into a sea and yelling and nobody can hear you, right? Because you haven't dialed in how to get customers, even at a micro level, right? So you've got to do that first. You've got to make sure that you can convert people into buyers when they're swimming towards you. I have a client who has a sizable wait list, and it's great. But she's having trouble getting them to pull the trigger to purchase her group coaching program. And those are people who've already been swimming towards her. They've raised their hand and say, I'm ready. I'm interested in this. Let me know when you open up the program and I want to join. So if you can't get those people to join yet, ads is not the direction to go, because you have to work on your messaging. You have to work on how to convert people, not go out into a sea of people who don't know you. It's a much heavier lift, right? And so once you know that you have something converting, you have people who are coming in, it's consistent, you can move people through your funnels and they're buying, that's the time to start going out and looking at more of an ad strategy. And that's, again, for conversions, not for awareness, right? You can go out and do an awareness campaign right away to again, it's the megaphone to amplify that you're there. But the expectation that they're going to turn into buyers is not going to happen until you can convert the people who are already swimming towards you. So anyway, so that is a little bit about my story of how I did this, how I got to 7 figures. And honestly, it didn't even really dawn on me to spend a lot of money and time on ads because the strategy was working so well, but because I knew that I needed to be out there building relationships. Sales is a process of planting seeds and helping to be there when people are ready. Very few times are people out, looking actively, right? Maybe they have a problem that they know they need solved, but they're not quite sure yet when or how to do that. If they're in a place where they're just seeing that they have a problem, they're just seeing that they need to find a solution, that is the best place to come in and build that relationship with them. It's not actually when they're actively looking, because they're actively looking at you and a bunch of other people, right? And so it becomes harder to convert at that point. You want to be there and have that relationship built. When they're ready, then they are like, yes, this is who I want to work with, and this is how I can move it forward. So think about that as you're going forward. So just to summarize, the goal is to build relationships, whether it's a paid ad or an organic strategy. It's to build relationships. At the end of all of that, as a human that you are helping, really have your messaging dialed in, how you can help that human, what the transformation is, and what they're going to get as they're working with you. That's the very first thing to do before you turn on that megaphone and put it out there into a broader market. Then know what your goals are. Are your goals just to start testing your offers, testing what you're doing, and knowing that you can start to convert people into customers? Or do you have that machine going and now it's ready to amplify and get out there into a bigger and broader message? Because that's then when you can go out with ads, because you've proven that system works. Okay, so that is my story. That is my journey. For you, your journey may be a little bit different. Maybe you combine them. Maybe you work more with different partners and different referral people, joint venture partners, where you're coming together and you're both promoting each other to each other's audiences. Maybe you're offering a referral bonus. You're doing affiliate commissions. There's lots of different strategies outside of just an ads strategy to focus on as you're building your business. But I'm going to tell you that you have to actively be building your business. There is no such thing as putting something out there and throwing ads at it and hoping that they convert. Right? It's not going to happen. And so if that's your strategy, if you think that just going from concept to ads to 7 figures is going to work, it's not going to. And so this is the time to start building, putting those building blocks in place. The people who have those programs that seem to go from 0 to 7 figures very quickly, they already have a sizable audience. They're already very well known in this space, and they already have people who they know they can convert into buyers. It is not a new strategy, right? They already have kind of that flywheel or that engine that they know works to go from taking a stranger into being a buyer. They're not starting from scratch, and they're not starting this without a strong foundation. So keep that in mind, right? We always have to make sure that we're not looking at somebody's, where they are today and when we're first starting, right? We have to look back at where they were when they first started in the game, and then apply the strategies that they've taken to get there, right? So look at that and apply that as you're building your business. But hopefully this serves you today. It gives you a couple of tips as to how to start looking at your organic growth strategy. Again, combine it with ads when you're ready to turn on that megaphone. But when you're first getting started, get out there. Start finding where your people are hanging out. Start joining the conversation, not selling to them, right? Just go out and serve. Become the person that they count on for whatever it is that you are selling. All right, there you go. Hopefully that serves you. Have a great day. Hey everybody, are you a business owner ready to streamline and scale your business? Imagine solving the biggest business challenges with clarity, a strategy, and a clear plan. Hey, I'm Bryan, and I want to invite you to take the first step towards transforming your business with a free 30-minute discovery call. This call is an opportunity to discuss your goals, identify key challenges, and learn how my mentorship program can help you achieve the success you're aiming for. In just a half hour, we'll explore how you can scale your business by enhancing your authority strategy, engagement strategy, and retention strategy. You'll get personalized advice and a clear path forward. Ready to take the first step? Click on the link below that's in the show notes to book your free discovery call now. I hope to talk to you soon.